The bustling city of Wuhan, China, became the epicenter of a global health crisis in December 2019. Reports emerged of a mysterious pneumonia-like illness spreading rapidly among the city's residents. Doctors and health officials were baffled by the unknown pathogen causing the outbreak. The Huanan Seafood Wholesale Market, known for selling live animals, quickly came under scrutiny as a potential source of the virus. Initial investigations pointed towards zoonotic transmission, with the virus likely jumping from an animal host to humans. The world watched with growing concern as the number of cases continued to rise in Wuhan and beyond. Health authorities worked tirelessly to identify the cause of the outbreak and contain its spread. Little did they know the world was on the brink of a pandemic that would forever change the course of history. The World Health Organization, or WHO, was alerted to the outbreak and immediately dispatched a team of experts to Wuhan. Their mission was to assist Chinese authorities in investigating the outbreak and providing guidance on public health measures. The world held its breath as scientists raced against time to identify the mysterious virus and understand its transmission. The coming weeks would determine the fate of millions as the virus began its relentless march across the globe. Scientists worked day and night to unravel the mysteries of the novel virus. Their efforts led to the identification of the pathogen as a new type of coronavirus, later named SARS-CoV-2. This virus belonged to the same family as the virus responsible for the 2002 to 2004 SARS outbreak, but it was a distinct and highly contagious strain. The virus primarily spread through respiratory droplets released when an infected person coughed, sneezed, or talked. The identification of the virus was a crucial step in understanding the enemy and developing effective countermeasures. However, the world was already grappling with the virus's rapid spread, and containment efforts were proving increasingly difficult. The virus had already begun its journey beyond the borders of China, silently hitching rides with unsuspecting travelers. As the virus spread, scientists focused on understanding its genetic makeup. Sequencing the virus's genome provided valuable insights into its origins, evolution, and potential for mutation. This information was crucial for developing diagnostic tests, treatments, and vaccines. The world watched with a mixture of fear and hope as scientists around the globe joined forces to combat the invisible enemy. The race against time had begun, and the stakes had never been higher. The highly contagious nature of SARS-CoV-2 allowed it to spread rapidly across the globe. International travel played a significant role in the virus's dissemination, as infected individuals unknowingly carried it to different countries and continents. Within weeks, cases were reported in countries far from China, including South Korea, Italy, and Iran. The virus's ability to spread through asymptomatic individuals further exacerbated its transmission, making it challenging to track and contain. The WHO declared COVID-19, the disease caused by SARS-CoV-2, a public health emergency of international concern on January 30, 2020. This declaration served as a global alarm bell, urging countries to strengthen their preparedness and response measures. However, many nations were caught off guard by the speed and scale of the outbreak. Healthcare systems struggled to cope with the surge in cases, and governments grappled with the unprecedented challenge of protecting their citizens while mitigating the economic fallout. As the virus continued its relentless march, the WHO officially declared COVID-19 a pandemic on March 11, 2020. The world watched in disbelief as borders slammed shut, flights were grounded, and cities were placed under lockdown. The pandemic had brought the world to its knees, exposing vulnerabilities in healthcare systems, global interconnectedness, and societal preparedness. The fight against COVID-19 had become a defining moment in human history, testing the resilience and adaptability of nations and individuals alike. Section 4. The face of COVID-19, symptoms and severity. COVID-19 presented a wide range of symptoms, making it challenging to diagnose based solely on clinical presentation. Some individuals infected with the virus remained asymptomatic, unknowingly spreading the virus to others. Others experienced mild symptoms such as fever, cough, fatigue, muscle aches, and loss of taste or smell. These mild cases often resembled the common cold or flu, making it difficult to distinguish between them without testing. However, a significant proportion of individuals developed severe illness, requiring hospitalization and intensive care. These severe cases often involve pneumonia, acute respiratory distress syndrome, and multi-organ failure. The elderly and individuals with underlying health conditions, such as heart disease, diabetes, and chronic respiratory illnesses, were at higher risk of developing severe complications from COVID-19. The severity of COVID-19 varied greatly, with some individuals experiencing long-term health effects even after recovering from the acute phase of the illness. This condition, known as long COVID, could manifest as persistent fatigue, shortness of breath, cognitive difficulties, and other debilitating symptoms. The long-term health consequences of COVID-19 were still being investigated, adding another layer of complexity to the pandemic's impact. The world was just beginning to understand the full spectrum of COVID-19's effects on human health. Section 5. Battling an Invisible Enemy Healthcare Response. Healthcare systems worldwide faced unprecedented challenges as they grappled with the COVID-19 pandemic. Hospitals were overwhelmed with an influx of patients, leading to shortages of beds, ventilators, and personal protective equipment. Healthcare workers found themselves on the front lines of the crisis, working tirelessly to care for patients while facing significant personal risk. Many healthcare workers contracted the virus themselves, and some tragically lost their lives. Governments and health organizations implemented various measures to curb the spread of the virus and alleviate the burden on healthcare systems. Testing capacity was ramped up to identify infected individuals and trace their contacts. Contact tracing became a crucial tool in breaking the chain of transmission. Isolation and quarantine measures were implemented to separate infected individuals from the healthy population. Public health campaigns emphasized the importance of hand hygiene, respiratory etiquette, and social distancing. These measures aimed to reduce the virus's spread by minimizing close contact between individuals. However, the effectiveness of these measures depended on public compliance and government enforcement. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the importance of robust healthcare systems, public health infrastructure, and a coordinated global response to effectively combat infectious disease outbreaks. Section 6. The quest for treatment, from ventilators to antivirals. In the early days of the pandemic, no specific treatments existed for COVID-19. Doctors relied on supportive care to manage patients' symptoms and provide oxygen therapy to those with difficulty breathing. Ventilators became a critical resource for patients with severe respiratory distress, but their availability was limited in many parts of the world. The race was on to develop effective treatments and therapies to combat the virus. Scientists and pharmaceutical companies worked tirelessly to identify existing drugs that could be repurposed to treat COVID-19. Clinical trials were conducted to evaluate the efficacy of various drugs, including antiviral medications, immunomodulators, and convalescent plasma therapy. Some drugs showed promise in reducing the severity of the illness and improving survival rates, but more research was needed to confirm their effectiveness. The development of new antiviral drugs specifically targeting SARS-CoV-2 became a top priority. These drugs aim to inhibit the virus's ability to replicate within the body, reducing the viral load and mitigating the severity of the illness. Several antiviral drugs received emergency use authorization from regulatory agencies, providing a glimmer of hope in the fight against COVID-19. However, access to these treatments remained limited in many parts of the world, highlighting the need for equitable distribution of resources.